And focus in politics has been correlated with that of former Vice President Josephat Karanja, who, according to members of Parliament, who were present in his vote of no confidence present in 1989. He refused to be intimidated and stood with what he believed was right before eventually resigning to avoid embarrassment in the August House. And as Mike Kagungu now reports, Gachagua's impeachment process is the fourth since Kenya got independence after members of Parliament attempted to oust Speaker Francis Ole Kaparo, that is sometime in 1997, and Vice President George Saitoti in 1999.
In an attempt to become the center of political power in the area, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has been working hard over the past 2 years to establish a base of influence around Mount Kenya region. His efforts ostensibly hit a snag when members of Parliament castigated him of only concentrating within single region, when he was expected to unite all Kenyans across the country. However, the man from Murema, as called in his region, refused to back down but rather tightened his belts to warn his opponents against touching, in his words, Murema. These events, among others, led to an impeachment motion against the DP sailed through in Parliament, just like in April 1989, when a motion of no confidence was moved against Kenya's fifth Vice President, Josephat Karanja. According to the then Assistant Minister for National Guidance and Political Affairs, Francis Ole Kaparo, Karanja, who had just been elected to represent Mathare constituency, the current Kasarani constituency, was accused by President Daniel Moi's confidence of plotting to destabilize the presidency and abusing power.
And by that time, Josephat Karanja had been in office for just 1 year. I was also at that time in politics, parliamentary politics, for 1 year. I was then an assistant minister for political affairs, national guidance and political affairs. So I participated in that motion.
It is said that in 1989, while President Daniel Moi was away on official business, Dr. Karanja convened a security meeting with key security officials. Moi was enraged by this act, sparking a conflict between the two.
The motion was carried, and subsequently the Vice President, Dr. Karanja, resigned. And there was a replacement by George Saitoti.
The position of a deputy president or a vice president is a very fragile position, in the sense that you are number two in terms of power arrangement, and yet there are other people who may be more influential than you in the normal day-to-day running of the office of the president. And I think that is where the challenge does emanate, from the fact that you are number two, and at times there are some individuals that I usually refer as either suspects or I call them make-believe, people who do not have any official capacity per se.
The motion to oust Karanja was tabled by Embakasi MP David Mwenje, who shortly after tabling it in Parliament, President Moi appointed him as an assistant minister to the office of the president. The man fronted by President Daniel Moi to run for Cherangani constituency by-election of 1989 following nullification of Masinde Muliro's election. Kipruto Arab Kirwa, remembers of Karanja after resigning from vice president's position, used to sit at the back benches in Parliament.
So I could see him, he used to come sit among us, among the back benches. He was still an MP for Githunguri, I think Mathare. So until of course he passed on in 1994. And the rest is history, because a by-election was done and somebody else came in.
But being a very good student of President Moi, it is the system in Kenya today. And I don't think it's just President Ruto. I think anybody, President Uhuru would do it, any other president coming would still do the same, because of the security and the safety of your seat.
Gachagua's impeachment process rekindles previous instances where the country's politics came to a standstill following Vice President's resignation from office. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and Joseph Murumbi were also casualties of circumstances, resigning from office following what they termed as leadership insecurities.
So Mr. Kenyatta appointed Joseph Murumbi. Joseph Murumbi stayed for about 6 months. Then he resigned, ostensibly on healthy grounds. That his health was not allowing him to continue running in that particular office as the Vice President of the Republic.
In 1996, former Speaker of the National Assembly Francis Ole Kaparu says members of Parliament tabled a censure motion against him, but only 57 MPs supported his ouster against 88 MPs. Former Vice President George Saitoti also found himself in the receiving end in 1999.
And I allowed it to be debated the very same day, and it was resoundingly defeated. If I can recall, it was 88 votes against and 57 votes for.
The appointment of Kalonzo Musyoka to assist President Moi Kibaki in running the government was the only presidential appointment in Kenyan history to be free of political ouster.
He appointed Kalonzo Musyoka, so I seem to give a lot of attribute and respect to President Moi Kibaki for handling his deputies and his ministers very well.
Kenya haiwezi kuwa vile tena. Haiwezi kuwa vile tena. Haitakuwa nchi ya udikteta, haitakuwa nchi ambayo mtu anaweza kuamuka kusema anataka kuendelea kuwa rais kwa maisha. Haiwezekani.
Gachagua has insisted that appointments to the state should solely go to UDA supporters. Karanja was once charged with tribalism when he allegedly demanded 40% of all open positions at the Nairobi City Commission. As a result, Karanja's dream of becoming president vanished quickly, although pundits say Gachagua's ouster may make him strong to bounce back through his Murema slogan. Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Nairobi.